Hello YouTube, welcome to my 99 range guide, and this guide is going to show you how to get 1 to 99 range with fast experience up to 100k an hour while making money. So for your initial setup, you're going to want to have a Gloria combat bracelet, leather body, leather chaps, and a leather cowl. So for 1 to 20 range, I highly recommend that you guys start off at Edgeville, killing the men north of the Edgeville Bank. As for your weapon of choice, I highly recommend the use of bronze knights as they're very quick, and you'll be making your money back with this first method because they drop all sorts of herbs that you could easily loot for 1 to 9k each. And for example, I spent around 3 minutes there, and I was able to obtain an Erit and a Ranar for a total of 10k profit. Now that you're 20 range, you're going to want to upgrade to a coif, a studded body, and studded chaps. And for the next method we're going to do is Chaos Shroods. So Chaos Shroods are particularly good because they drop a large amount of herbs as well as mithril bolts, law runes. And you might be wondering, why are we doing Chaos Shroods at such a low level? And the reason is because you can make around 100k to 200k an hour doing this method, and you could hit relatively high on them. So from 20 to 28 range, I'd recommend using a willow shortbow with iron arrows until you hit the Dorkshan crossbow, because at 28 range the Dorkshan crossbow is a very powerful crossbow to use because it utilizes bone bolts, which are very cheap, which are currently going for 7 GP each, and you could just buy 3k of them for 21k and just not even bother picking them up. So the general food that I recommend for up to 99 range is Jug of Wine, as they go for 25 GP each on the Grand Exchange and they heal 11 HP. So you're going to want to stay at Chaos Shroods until 40 or 50 range, depending on where your bank is at. So if you need more money, I'd recommend staying here longer rather than hopping to my next method, as my next method will be way more AFKable with more XP per hour, but you won't be making any money. For level 50 range to 70 range, I'm going to highly recommend rock crabs, and specifically Water Breath Island rock crabs. So for that, you're going to need at least 1000 GP in your inventory. And the primary reason I recommend them is because they're highly AFKable and they provide a good amount of XP, which is 40 to 50k XP per hour, while doing absolutely nothing. So you could AFK them for about 15 minutes before they go non-aggressive on you. And my recommended setup is full green, blue, black, or red d'hide, as well as snakeskin boots, as they provide a very good bonus, and a coif. And my recommended weapon of choice is the Dorkshan crossbow with bone bolts or iron knives. So every 15 minutes you're going to have to reset your aggressiveness with the rock crabs, and the way you do is the way I show you on screen. Basically you have to move very far from the rock crabs, and then you have to move back. It's as if you're leaving the area then coming back. That way you always maintain your AFK ability while watching a movie. So for 70 to 75 range, I'm going to recommend Tishars, and the reason I recommend them is because they have good drops and they're a semi-AFKable monster, meaning that you could attack them and it takes 30 seconds to a minute to kill them, and then basically rinse and repeat. And in the video I'm showing you where they could be safe spotted, however there are various other places they could be safe spotted as well. Here you could get 40k XP an hour, and depending on the drops you might make around 200k to 300k an hour. And my recommended weapons are either a rune crossbow with mithril bolts or a bone crossbow with bone bolts. So from 75 to 99 you're going to want to do Elder Chaos Druids, and I recommend the setup that I'm showing you now on the screen. If you have full range void, I recommend bringing that instead of the setup on screen. The reason I put the setup on screen is because not all people want to put 15 hours into getting full range void. And as for the inventory setup, just bring a few range pots and just 2 prayer pots, and the rest is food and an emergency teleport. And if you have a looting bag, bring one. If you don't have one, you'll just get one from the Elder Chaos Druids as a drop. And the reason I recommend Elder Chaos Druids is because they drop a lot of herbs, and they have very high HP and very low defense. Elder Chaos Druids are also a great moneymaker, as they could produce 300k to 400k an hour with this method, as well as produce a lot of hard clue scrolls, as they do drop hard clue scrolls. And the XP rates for this are 90k XP an hour to 110k plus. So at 83 range with a range pot as well as the Hawkeye prayer, I was able to pull 90k XP an hour. However, at 83 range and full void, I was able to pull 110k XP an hour. And this method is fairly great because all you have to do is just recharge your prayer at the altar and just carry a few extra prayer pots and make sure that they don't bring your prayer down too much. So otherwise it's pretty AFKable. And the reason you could bring full range here, as well as your blowpipe and a fury, is because your void range remains on the ground for around 30 minutes to an hour. So you could just go get it back after you get PK'd, if you do get PK'd. I have yet to see one PK here. And with my setup in the video, I'm only losing black d'hide chaps and a coif and black d'hide vamps. The Sarah d'hide body is protected, the fury is protected, and the blowpipe is protected. Overall, Elder Chaos Druids are a great method if you want some great range XP, some money, and possibly some hard clue scrolls as people hunt them down. So for 75 to 99, we're going to do a much more AFK method than the Elder Chaos Druids, which is Nightmare Zone. And you might not have as much profits as before, but this is definitely way more AFKable than Elder Chaos Druids, because you could literally go away for 5 minutes and come back and your character will still be there attacking. And even if you do die or mess up, or go AFK for an extended amount of period of time, your character dies and gets out of the Nightmare Zone, but your items and everything are safe. So the Nightmare Zone is located north of Vienna, and to start this, you can't get overloads at first without a previous game started. However, you could just bring your own range pots and just use that instead of the overloads for the very first few games, and then when you get enough points, you get the overloads and just use that. And with this method, I've been able to obtain around 100k range XP an hour. And the only requirements are 5 quests. They are Tree Gnome Village, Grand Tree, Fight Arena, Mountain Daughter, and Vampire Slayer. That is the downside to Nightmares, and you have to do these 5 quests, but it shouldn't take you too long. So what you want to do is sip 1 overdose every single 5 minutes and just watch your prayer and sit in the middle of the Nightmare Zone. Another great thing about Nightmare Zone is that you could make money back on your losses, such as the steel darts and the Zora scales and the prayer pots. You could buy 15 herb lore boxes per day, and each one contains 10 herbs. So make sure you visit Nightmare Zone every single day to collect on your money. This pretty much concludes my 99 Rage guide. However, I'll also be making another in-depth Nightmare Zone guide soon, so please subscribe and be on the lookout for that next guide.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe